Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Baker, Ms. Gaddy, Mr. Roth, and Ms. Navaroli. You can consider your speech canceled during my time because you canceled mine. You see, you permanently banned my personal Twitter account, and it was my campaign account also. So let's talk about election interference, shall we? January 2nd, 2002, you permanently banned my Twitter account. This was the account that I would put my campaign ads on, raise money on, fight back when attacked with lies, and be able to talk to my voters in my district. But you banned it. And then let me explain. My account was not reinstated until November 21st, 2022. That was after my election on November 8th. You know, at your company, or your former company where you worked, Twitter employees, over 98% of them donate to Democrats. So while you coordinated with DHS, the FBI, the CIA, our government, and outside groups to permanently ban, shadow ban conservative Americans and candidates like me and the former president of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, you were censoring and wrongfully violating our First Amendment free speech rights. Guess what? None of you hold security clearances. None of you are elected, and none of you represent 750,000 people like I do. Let's explain. 52 United States Law 10101. No person shall intimidate, threaten, coerce, or attempt to stop any other person for the purpose of interfering with their rights to vote, or to vote as he may choose. You didn't shadow ban or permanently ban my Democrat opponent. No, you did that to me. And that was wrong, and it was against the law. You see, not only that, was it me that you violated my First Amendment rights? You violated countless conservative Americans. These were doctors that were trying to tell the truth about COVID, doctors that were having success treating people with ivermectin that you all would not allow to be talked about on your platform. These were parents complaining about their school boards, teaching gender lies in their schools, biological males entering their daughters' bathrooms and sports. These were also people questioning the 2020 election, and guess what? That's Americans' First Amendment right. These were people talking about voting machines. You know what? Democrats did that in 2019, before the 2020 election. On Twitter, people could question elections such as 2016, saying Hillary won, but in 2020, no one could question elections saying Trump won. You abused the power of a large corporation, big tech, to censor Americans. And you want to know something? Guess what? I'm so glad that you're censored down. I'm so glad you've lost your jobs. Thank God Elon Musk bought Twitter. And you know what? Let's talk about something a little bit further. It's amazing to me, Mr. Roth, as the head and trust of safety at Twitter, your ability, or should I say inability, to remove child porn. Now, here's something that disgusts me about you. In your doctoral dissertation entitled Gay Data, you argued that minors should have access to Grindr, an adult male gay hookup app. Minors? Really? You know, Elon Musk took over Twitter and he banned 44,000 accounts that were promoting child porn. You permanently banned my Twitter account, but you allowed child porn all over Twitter. Twitter had become a platform, you said, connecting queer young adults. You also wrote on Twitter in 2010, can high school students ever meaningfully consent to sex with their teachers? In 2021, while you were the director of trust and safety on Twitter, an underage boy and his mother announced a lawsuit against Twitter because Twitter was benefiting from and refused to remove a lewd video featuring this boy and another minor. That is repulsive. But you violated me. What were my tweets? Okay, let's talk about them. I was talking about the deaths being reported on VAERS. By the way, that's on the CDC website. I was also saying that I didn't think any entity should enforce a non-FDA approved vaccine or mask. Guess what? A lot of people agreed with me, but you called that COVID misinformation. By the way, I'm a member of Congress and you're not. I also said the controversial COVID-19 vaccines should not be forced on our military. You want to know something? Republicans stopped that in the NDAA.
Ladies, time has expired.
And your time has expired. I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chair recognizes Mr. Gomez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Roth, please explain to us why Ms. Marjorie Taylor Greene, or the representative from Georgia, was removed from Twitter.
Thank you for the question, Congressman. My recollection is that her personal account was banned from Twitter after repeated written notices due to repeated violations of the Twitter rules.
Can you add a little specificity to the violation of the Twitter rules?
Yes. Again, I didn't have access to my Twitter email, documents, anything that would have let me prepare to answer that in more detail, but my recollection is that the Congresswoman repeatedly violated Twitter's policies about sharing misinformation about COVID-19. She received multiple written warnings about that conduct. She received multiple timeouts related to that conduct. And then ultimately, consistent with the written and published policy, those repeated violations resulted in her account being permanently suspended.
Mr. Chairman,
so in essence,
I'd like to take a point of personal privilege.
It's still my time.
We'll stop. We'll stop.
Still my
clock.
It's still my
Point of order,
time.
Mr. Chairman.
Point of order by Mr. Raskins.
Yeah, I don't believe that members of this committee have the right to interrupt someone's testimony because their
Point
name
of
was
personal
mentioned.
privilege.
And-
You were mentioning my name, Mr. Raskin.
Yeah, no, I understand, but that's not the rule, Ms. Greene. I don't think a member.
That is the rule in Congress.
Well, then I'd like
we can take a point
I'd like
of
the
personal
parliamentarian to
privilege.
rule on whether any member of this committee has the right to interrupt a witness's testimony because they mentioned the name of a member of Congress.
You mentioned my name, Mr. Raskin.
Yeah, I'm not testifying.
Chair recognizes Ms. Greene.
Thank you, Mr.
For your
Chairman.
point of privilege, very briefly.
Thank you. For Mr. Roth, who made you in charge of what is true and what's not true?
We'll,
Does she get to reopen her
no,
question?
no,
Okay.
we'll go back to Mr. Gomez, and Mr. Gomez, please remember the decorum of the committee. The clock, we'll restart the clock now. You didn't lose any time. Chair recognizes Mr. Gomez.
Thank you so much. The gentle lady from Georgia was suspended from Twitter for knowingly and consistently spreading conspiracy theories about COVID-19 vaccine, right? Which is shameful, especially in a pandemic where a million people have lost their lives. With that, I yield my rest of my time to the gentleman from New York, Mr. Goldman.
That was Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, going wild in the Oversight Committee hearing on Hunter Biden's laptop. Oh God! The civilian son of a president of the United States. Republicans are weaponizing this committee to try to score political points. Every Republican's line of questioning was ridiculous, but Marjorie Taylor Greene takes the cake to no one's surprise, right? We all saw this coming when we heard that she was going to be seated on these committees. She's embarrassed herself numerous times, and yet she continues to look like an absolute idiot. She goes on a homophobic rant. She's talking about trans children. She's talking about children given access to Grindr. She holds up her own tweets showing the misinformation that she tweeted and then acts, I'm being unfairly targeted. Let's ignore the hundreds of other tweets that also were spewing misinformation. And she also just doesn't get the First Amendment, right? She talks about how, she's a member of Congress and she was banned from Twitter, and that violates her First Amendment. No, Marjorie, it doesn't. They can ban whoever they want to. They can limit your tweets. They can limit the user's access to your tweets. They can do pretty much whatever they want to your account. That is their platform, and banning you does not violate your First Amendment. So Marjorie Taylor Greene here, of course, just displaying the absolute lunacy of the far right, of these mega morons. They're pissed, right? She doesn't have a lot of power. She got a little bit back with the midterm election, right? And Kevin McCarthy being the House Speaker and her being able to get her committee assignments back. But you heard her. She represents 750,000 people. Okay, Marge, that's nice, but that doesn't mean you just get to spew your lies and hate on the social media platforms of your choice, because there are social media platforms who will push back against you and against your lies, and they will disable you from doing that. And this is you just being mad, right? You're just mad that they fought back against your idiocy. Sorry, Marge. They're allowed to do that. So this is still going to continue, right? Because she still has her seat. She's not going to be punished for yelling at Joe Biden during the election, right? Or during the State of the Union. No. Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're fine, because Kevin McCarthy is spineless. So this is just the continuation of the moronic lines of questioning that Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to have for the next 2 years. So if you want to watch more videos and more instances of Marjorie Taylor Greene acting a fool, then definitely subscribe to the channel. Definitely like this video and continue watching, because, like I said, this is going to happen from here on out for the next 2 years.